In 2001, the Seattle Mariners had that historic season of winning 116 games, tying the major league record for the most wins in a season with the 1906 Chicago Cubs. Unfortunately, their run to the World Series came to an end in the American League Championship Series in 5 games to the New York Yankees. However, the season was not only remembered for the regular season dominance, but also remembered for Ichiro's dominating rookie season, Bret Boone's sudden MVP caliber season, replacing much of the offense Alex Rodriguez provided previously in 2000. The starting pitching and the bullpen were the strength of the team. Although this was one of the greatest seasons in Mariners history, this did hurt the Mariners in the long run. And how is that possible? Well, you're about to find out. In the 2002 offseason, there were several key players from the 2001 team that became free agents: Bret Boone, Mark McLemore, Aaron Seeley, and David Bell. Mark McLemore went on to sign an extension for the Seattle Mariners. Aaron Seeley went on to sign with the Anaheim Angels, which was a significant loss to the team. Although he was terrible in the playoffs, he was at least a solid enough pitcher to help the Mariners get into the playoffs. Mariners did at least have a chance to sign Jason Schmidt of the Giants, who did grow up in Longview, Washington. The Mariners did offer a 3-year deal for Jason, but he stayed with the Giants, signing a 4-year, $31 million deal. The Mariners really should have made an effort to get Jason, as they would have had the money after letting Aaron Seeley go. The Mariners eventually settled with James Baldwin, who did not perform well for the 2002 season and was let go afterwards. Bret Boone, who signed a 1-year, $3.25 million contract, had a career year, batting .331, 37 home runs, and 141 RBIs. This was easily the most bargain free agent signing the Mariners ever had, but he was due for a new contract for his worth. The Mariners initially offered him a 3-year, $22 million deal, but Boone didn't think the offer was good enough for him. Mariners CEO Howard Lincoln was prepared to let him go, and this is what he said: "We've made what we think is a competitive offer to Bret. He's decided he wants to go out and shop the market. That's fine. We're going to continue to have discussions with him, but the Alex Rodriguez case shows us we're prepared to let players go regardless of how popular they are, if we simply can't put something together that makes business sense." He even admitted the Mariners were not looking to increase payroll either. And this man couldn't sound any more arrogant. First off, he got lucky with Bret Boone having a breakout year out of that contract, and Boone's performance gave him the arrogance that he could easily expend these players, like how he treated Alex Rodriguez as an expendable. Eventually, the Mariners and Bret Boone did come together with an agreement and gave Bret Boone a 3-year, $24 million contract extension with a club option for a 4th year if Bret Boone made 450 plate appearances in 2004. Mariners re-signed David Bell and then traded him to the Giants for Desi Relaford, who only played for the Mariners in the 2002 season. Mariners got their replacement for third baseman by trading for Jeff Cirillo. The Mariners gave up Denny Stark, Brian Fuentes, and Jose Paniagua. Brian Fuentes would eventually blossom into a 4-time All-Star. As for Cirillo, he disappointed in his 2 seasons for the Mariners, leading him to be traded after the 2003 season. Safe to say the Mariners should have committed with David Bell, as he did contribute for the Giants to reach the 2002 World Series. And he would have been cheaper, as Jeff Cirillo already had a 4-year, $29 million contract with the Rockies that he signed. For an organization that was obsessed with saving money, they certainly had no issue paying Jeff Cirillo's contract. And going into that trade for Jeff Cirillo, there was concern offensively for him, since Coors Field was a great fit for him, and it was unclear that Safeco Field was going to fare any better for him. Despite a rocky offseason for the Seattle Mariners, they did jump out to a hot start, going 18-8 in April, and it looked like another 100-win season was possible, and had a stretch of winning 8 of 9 in May. In the month of May, Mike Cameron made history, hitting 4 home runs in 1 game, along with him and Bret Boone hitting back-to-back home runs in 1 inning. Over time, it did become quite clear that the Mariners had serious flaws. The offense was short of bat, and that was evident with Edgar Martinez missing half of the 2002 season with a hamstring injury he suffered in April. The productions of Bret Boone and Mike Cameron dropped compared to their 2001 seasons. On top of the hitting, the starting pitching also had their problems with the loss of Aaron Seeley and injuries to Paul Abbott, who only pitched in April and was out for the rest of the season. Although Ryan Franklin and Joel Pinheiro stepped up, it was clear the Mariners needed to add depth to their starting pitching and offense. With a tight division race with the Oakland A's, who had their Moneyball season, and all of a sudden surging Anaheim Angels, it was clear the Mariners had to make a move at the trade deadline. The A's went ahead and acquired Ricardo Rincon and Ray Durham.
Billy says he needs $225,000 for Ricardo Rincon. Okay, thank you very much. We'll call you back. Thank you. Come on! Come on!
And meanwhile, the Mariners did not make any moves. Disturbingly, Lou Piniella was placed on a gag order by Howard Lincoln due to Lou's frustration with the lack of moves being done by the Mariners while other American League contenders were doing so. Now it makes sense why Lou Piniella had his moment with umpire C.B. Bucknor.
The season bubbling to the surface, Piniella gets the immediate ejection, and then we have a Class A top-notch and the throwing of it. And we tear it up and we throw it, but apparently
not a good toss.
Not good enough of a toss as Buckner looks on. There we go.
Edgar Martinez even expressed his frustration, stating, "I see other teams getting their teams ready for the last couple months. They're getting some help to make it to the playoffs. Sometimes it is a little frustrating when our team can be improved and we don't make a move." He had every right to express this since he was in the last days of his career and he desired a World Series championship. But the Mariners refused to help put a team together in position to compete for the World Series. To further kick a dead horse, Howard Lincoln went on to say these followings: "The goal of the Mariners is to not win a World Series. It is to field a competitive team year after year to put itself in position to win a World Series and hope at some point that happens. People want us to do something exceptional, but what we want to do is to have the discipline to stick with our plan. We absolutely have to make money. No question. End of story. I'm in the baseball business, not a feel-good business." Which explained that he basically just didn't care about putting together a winning product for the Mariners. And it's not like us fans and key members of the Mariners were asking for much at all. Just a little bit more to acquire key players at the trade deadline to compete in the ultra-competitive American League West. Thanks to the lack of activity at the trade deadline, the 20-game winning streak by the Moneyball Oakland Athletics, and a random red-hot Angels team, the Mariners missed the playoffs by 10 games for the division and 6 games for the wild card. The Angels went on to win the 2002 World Series.
Into right center field. Erstad says he has it. The Angels, world champions.
After the 2002 season, Lou Piniella expressed the need to improve the team, which angered Howard Lincoln, since Howard did place him on a gag order. The disagreements with each other led to the Mariners trading Lou Piniella away to the Tampa Bay Devil Rays for their lone 2002 All-Star Randy Winn. With Lou Piniella out, the Mariners went ahead to hire Bob Melvin, a former bench coach for the Arizona Diamondbacks. Bob Melvin at the time was known to be a yes man and would not oppose the inactivity of the Upper Mariners management. In controversy, the Mariners had an opportunity to pursue Dusty Baker, who did help manage the Giants to the World Series, but the Mariners did not entertain an interview due to the personality that would have been similar to Lou Piniella in terms of having a say on how the management puts together the team. Despite another dreary offseason, including the Mariners not willing to add payroll for the 2003 season, the Mariners once again, just like 2002, got off to another strong start, at one point being the best team in baseball in June. However, from June 6th to July 28th, the Mariners lost more games than they won, with their division lead down to 3. As the trade deadline approached again, the Mariners once again did not make a legitimate trade while watching the Yankees trade for Aaron Boone, the A's trading for Jose Guillen. Although the Mariners did settle and trade for Ray Sanchez, he did not provide much of a spark for the remainder of the season. Jeff Nelson expressed his frustrations on the management's inactivity after the trade deadline. Here is what he stated: "They tried? I'm sick and tired of tried. They always said they tried. But other teams seem to do it. That's what the Yankees and Red Sox do, and we have the money too. Heck, even Kansas City and Oakland and the White Sox do things, and they're similar market clubs than us. If I was a fan and having to pay these outrageous concession prices, I'd feel frustrated. They deserve more than just, okay, we stood pat again. Every year, they say they're going to go out and get someone, and they never do. I want to do everything we can to get into the playoffs. I care about right now, tonight, and the rest of the season." Right after those statements, the Mariners traded Jeff Nelson to the Yankees for Armando Benitez. Sounds like Howard Lincoln got his feelings hurt, since he's not willing to take criticism, obviously. Bob Melvin also stated that he was comfortable with the team he had going into the trade deadline, which made Howard Lincoln's life easier since that's the kind of manager that he wanted. For the remainder of the season, the Mariners struggled, including getting swept in Boston in 4 games in August, missing the division and the wild card by 2 games. Right after the 2003 season, Pat Gillick stepped down as general manager of the Seattle Mariners, and the Mariners went on to hire Bill Bavasi, who not only managed the Mariners into the abyss, but was allowed to be given the payroll needed to build the team that never made the playoffs. I find that true hypocrisy, where once again, the Mariners were not willing to spend money while they had a contending team, but allowed the incompetent Bill Bavasi to spend money into baseball hell. Although 2001 was a record-breaking season, that season gave Howard Lincoln such arrogance that he felt that he didn't have to add payroll to get the Mariners to the World Series. He allowed one lucky season of 2001 to inflate his ego and alienate those who wanted to win, and held Lou Piniella and Pat Gillick hostage of managing the Mariners to its full potential. Also, I may have said it in another video, but Howard Lincoln still remains as one of the board members of the Seattle Mariners. Thanks for watching, and if you did like this video and felt angered by the incompetent Howard Lincoln, hit the like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell, and leave your thoughts in the comments on what you thought of Howard Lincoln and the management of the Seattle Mariners. And do you think the Mariners would make that same mistake again?